like in a big race and you stop a few feet before and just sit down, then something's wrong. So here's Prabhupada's quote for our consideration while we chant today. Regarding your last question about the ecstatic symptoms of chanting Hare Krishna, you should know that the Hare Krishna mantra has an equal effect upon all devotees. Just as the sunshine has an equal effect on everyone, but when it is covered, the sunshine has a different effect. Similarly, the influence of the Hare Krishna mantra becomes manifest when one is no longer covered by the 10 offenses to chanting. The more we become free from the 10 offenses, the more the effect of chanting becomes manifested through us. Everyone can become a great devotee, being freed from the offenses 100%, simply by one's determination and effort. And the extrapolation that we'll just visit while we're doing this today, however briefly that may be, has to do with practice while you can, because it's not guaranteed that we'll get more time. You can consider that the time that we have right now is the most important time. Often I think I'll just do it later. And later never comes, because justice delayed is justice denied. So don't deny yourself the opportunity to really deeply practice in any given moment, especially during the times that you've designated for japa, and think that I'll get serious later or I'll do it later. Better to take advantage of it right now. So, considering the fact that Hare Krishna mantra has an equal effect on everyone, and it's only up to our receptivity, we can chant with this mood of determination and effort. Determination can be as simple as thinking, let me finish one beat at a time, one round at a time, and finish my prescribed number of rounds for the day. That's determined. And effort means what we said yesterday, that is, there's a little heavy lifting. I mean, little and heavy lifting don't go together. There's heavy lifting in the practice, which means it's our duty to be attentive. Means don't chant and then let your mind wander at the same time. It's like going to the gym, moving your arms instead of picking up the weights. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Just a quick intervention. Everyone happy? You like doing this? Okay, good. Then you're well on your way back to Godhead. So, here's the quote again. Hare. Regarding your last question about the ecstatic symptoms of chanting Hare Krishna, you should know that the Hare Krishna Mahamantra has an equal effect upon all devotees. So just about that part, there's a way in which one might think, it doesn't work for me. I hear about it in the Shastra, people experiencing ecstasy and so forth, so why can't I? Or why don't I feel exactly like that? So what's the answer? It'll just be efficient if we use the mics.
Hare Krishna. I was thinking it's probably to do with my own insincerity towards the process rather than because there's nothing wrong with the process.
Well, you might even be sincere, but maybe just haven't come to that point yet. And yes?
Not listening to the mantra while we actually say the mantra.
Sure. Hare Krishna. I lost mine. So, Prabhupada says in the rest of the quote that the sunshine has an equal effect on everyone, But if we don't avail ourselves to the sunshine, go inside, close all the doors and windows and shades, then it's not the fault of the sunshine. It's just I'm not exposing myself to the sunshine. And then he says that if we become free from the 10 offenses, 100% free, then the full effect of the holy name will manifest in our lives. So just a food for thought. Is there any way you can think of that you can adjust the way you live or think in order to come closer to being 100% free from committing any of the 10 offenses? Well, your hand up went fast. I'm glad you've been thinking about it.
Getting enough rest.
Well, that's very practical. And how would that help you with the 10 offenses?
Well, usually a lot of the negative stuff I do is because I'm not properly rested, I'm grouchy, or I'm inattentive, or I'm not able to pay attention in classes and stuff because I'm not getting what my body needs.
Such a good point, and this would be a sign of determination and effort, right? If you said, instead of whiling away my time, especially at night, even by 15 extra minutes, if I was strict about going to sleep at a particular time so that I could get up earlier and be fully rested, then that would be a sign of determination and effort and help overcome the 10 offenses.
Associating with devotees or pure devotees.
And so how does that help overcome the 10 offenses?
It helps overcome the 10 offenses because our consciousness can be elevated, associating with devotees that are more advanced than us, and it can help us absorb the holy name fully.
So which one of the 10 offenses would you be thinking of that you would be able to rise above by association with devotees? Anyone in particular you can think of? Call a friend. We can always go to inattention, because although it's not listed in the 10 offenses, it's said by Bhaktivinoda Thakur to be the root cause of all the others. And I may be inattentive for various reasons, but if I'm around those who are serious and attentive, then I might also be that way. Prabhu. Pass it back. Raise your hand.
Hare Krishna. If we're regularly reading Srila Prabhupada's books and Shastra, then we're more and more conscious of the glories of the devotees, the glories of the spiritual master, the glories of Shastra, even the glories of Krishna's devotees like the demigods, the reality of the material world, and so we're less and less likely to be offensive towards the devotees, the spiritual master, the Shastra, the demigods, and so on. So by becoming more conscious of the position of these personalities and things through Shastra, then this helps us to be less offensive towards those things.
Such practical answers. Sadhu Sangha, getting more sleep, hearing Prabhupada's books. Divyanam Prabhu? We'll just take a few more and go back to chanting. Yeah.
I have a quick question, about the association of the devotees. I was thinking, what is it that really gets us back into, some taste or chanting attentively? Because is it more of the Vaishnavas dressed in a tilaka and, in a devotional dress? Is it more about, just being in there and seeing everybody chanting that, let me try as well? Is there a more subtlety to it rather than just seeing it? What exactly is it that really drives us into our devotional life with the association of devotees?
Humans are very adaptive, and when they see somebody else doing something, then they tend to think, I can do this too. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gītā, all our states of consciousness have come because of our previous sangas. There was a curious case about how people used to think that they couldn't run a mile in under 4 minutes, and it persisted for centuries. And there were theories that you couldn't do it, otherwise your heart would explode and so forth. And then there was this doctor named Roger Bannister, who was also a runner, And he practiced and practiced, and then he beat the 4-minute mile. And then after that, it became commonplace. Everybody did it. And it just became the standard. Now in college, if you don't run under a 4-minute mile, you're not really on the team. So, when we see a higher standard at other people, then we tend to think, oh, then maybe it's possible, I can do it also. And we don't come to that awareness until we come into the association of those who have a higher standard. I remember being on at some temple, I was taking devotees on sankirtana, and there was this one devotee who, every time you get in the van, he'd immediately start reading, he'd be chanting all the time. Not in an annoying way, but it was just noticeable that he was enthusiastic about not wasting any time. And everybody on the party noticed it and felt that, oh, I should be doing that too. So we tend to pick up from others, or monkey see, monkey do. Okay, so just 2 more. 1, 2, 3, that's it. But wait, you had it too, so 4.
Hare Krishna. Praying to the Lord that I am incapable.
So, preface it. You're saying praying to the Lord. What's the topic at hand? Overcoming the 10 offenses.
Because
what would you
I'm
do? Yeah.
incapable of doing coming out of the 10 offenses. Please help me. I'm surrendered unto you. So I'm pleading to the Lord that please help me out. I'm incapable of doing this.
That's really good. Accomplishes so much by praying. Okay? Prabhupada Priya, and then, I'm sorry, I missed you. We'll come back.
Hare Krishna. I was thinking that it's important to hear the glories of the holy name specifically, because that can help counteract the tendency to, give some mundane interpretation on the name, to consider it one of the fruitive ritualistic activity, and like that, just to consider the glories of the holy name to be exaggeration. All 3 of those, by hearing the glories of the holy name. And I was thinking particularly for children who grew up in Krishna consciousness. They see lots of devotees chanting japa every day, their parents chanting japa every day, and they may see also that these devotees who are chanting japa still have, material hang-ups, still have some bad qualities, and that can make them think that, the holy name is not powerful, it's not making them pure devotees as promised, so it can cause doubts to arise, thinking, well, why should I do it? Do I want to be like them, kind of thing? And that also is like the first offense, to blaspheme the devotees, so it becomes a whole entanglement. But if we just keep hearing the glories of the holy name, and that will develop faith in the process and faith in the names, that it's a gradual process and that we're all works in progress, and that may inspire us to chant.
Thank you. Very well put together. Okay, a couple more quick points and we'll go back to chanting.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I was just thinking, making a habit of appreciating the devotees and appreciating what we are able to give, even if it's a little bit or if it's a lot. If one morning we're doing all these austerities and the next day we can get out of bed and just chant, just appreciating, like, okay, today I'm going to do my best. And I know that my friend over here is doing their best, and I just appreciate what is happening.
That's really nice. Thank you. Okay, and I'd wait for the close.
Hare Krishna. Just adding on to Madhuri Saki's point, I was thinking not only trying to have elevated association, but also trying to avoid the wrong types of association would help us avoid like some of the offenses, which include bad mouthing devotees, scriptures, and the Shastra.
Yeah, that could come even from watching YouTube, because the way people who aren't Krishna conscious interact with one another, and the values that they portray by the way they act can also subtly affect us. So being careful about what we put in, because it's going to end up in the bay of the heart. Devan, you have one last quick point? I don't want to miss you, but we want to chant. Go ahead.
Disclaimer, I'm just talking in general. if we look inside us, and if we think out of the 10 offenses, if we are doing any of them, so over the days, I'll for the first 3 days I will not do one offense. Then after 6 days I will not do 2 offenses. Like that, gradually we'll stop doing all of these offenses. And if I do any of those offenses, 1 extra round of chanting.
I see a future temple president here. You're so practical. Well, we got a lot out of that session. I hope it's recorded so we can write all these things down. Thank you, everyone. Let's chant a little bit more and we can consider the points. Would you be open to a few last points? Okay, 5 people, everyone else keep chanting. So, Prabhupada mentions that at some point we have to fly solo. When you're practicing with the teacher to fly an airplane, you feel some confidence, but then at some point you have to go by yourself. And we have to take the responsibility to practice so that we can fly solo. And we're good for it. We know that we can keep up our chanting even if we don't have the best association. And when we take advantage of everything while we can, then when we don't have that, we can trust ourselves. That's the best feeling in the world, to have that sense that I know I'm good for it, I can keep doing this. And that means nishta, steadiness. Prabhupada mentions ways in which we can call out the holy name that are especially effective. One of them is like a baby. Babies can't survive without constant attention from their parents. And if we call out like a baby for its mother, that means remembering that we're fully dependent, and we chant with that mood. That's especially effective. And Prabhupada said, the acharya, the guru, and the shastra can give us hints about advancing in spiritual life, but we have to do the work. Unless we're willing to actually do it and make the effort and be determined, then even the acharya can't save us. Just because you're a card-carrying member doesn't mean that you're going to be saved. You have to do the work. And finally, beware of the Dhritarashtra syndrome. Dhritarashtra was attached to his sons. And when Krishna sent Akrura to go speak to him to try to avoid having the war that ended up as the Kurukshetra battle, or the Kurukshetra war, Akrura told Dhritarashtra everything he needed to hear. That it's a bad idea, don't be attached to your sons, you're going to ruin it for everybody, etc. And Dhritarashtra said, your words are glorious as you are, and your words are full of meaning and wisdom, but I just can't follow them. So there's this sense of claiming to be too weak to take responsibility to do what's right. This is illegal, because at some point we have to take responsibility that we're actually the ones that are responsible for the position we're in right now, and we have to take some measure to come out of it. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, every living being can rise in due course of time. It's illegal to claim to be permanently unqualified. Each day we can make that endeavor, then we can come closer to that. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Harinam Prabhu, if you so desire, please give us full determination and the wherewithal to put our effort into chanting without the 10 offenses. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone who agrees with this prayer, in whole or in part, please unmute and say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpadrusha kripasinabheva chatpatitanam bhavana.